Tathagat means the person who is liberated from the cycle of life and death.
So you from
Sagar.
you want to go back to Delhi?
I've just forgotten that almost 800-kilometer distance is there and it's peak winter. No reservation. I said, okay, I'll come tomorrow. मेरा तो ना ही शनिवार, ना ही रविवार, ना ही परिवार.
Wow.
The most important thing about science is like when somebody says, we cannot do innovation because this much investment is required. I said, it doesn't require.
Do you have any plan to create that medicine what you talk about from Dr. Shanku? One tablet for everything. Welcome to Pharma Now, the platform where we bring you inspiring journeys from the heart of pharma world. Today's guest is someone who beautifully blends science, creativity, and deep connections with nature. We are honored to host Dr. Tathagata Dutta, a true pioneer in pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical innovation. From childhood, inspired by Professor Shanku's imagination, to leading cutting-edge research in gene therapy, nanotechnology, and targeted drug discovery, Dr. Datta's journey is nothing short of remarkable. But there is more to him than a molecule and medicine. During our conversation, he also shared his deep passion for a plantation and a biodiversity, including his personal connection of carnivorous plant at home. It's a reminder that true scientists find wonder not just in the labs, but also in the living world around us. In today's episode, you will hear his early inspirations, his groundbreaking work in pharma sciences, his leadership philosophies, and the small personal joys that fuel his big dreams. So, let's dive into his inspiring journey. So, first of all, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
I really wanted to start with the name is very unique, Tathagat. So I think I was actually pronouncing it wrongly, Tathagata. I think because of South Indian friends, they were telling me this name. So I wanted to really know the story behind this Tathagat.
So Tathagat is actually from origin from Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Tathagat means the person who is liberated from the cycle of life and death. Tathagat, the name was given to Lord Buddha when he attained a moksha at Bodh Gaya under the Bodhi Briksha.
Okay.
So, my grandparents were very fond of Buddha, and so they named me as Tathagat.
Wow, that's beautiful name. But so you are coming from a small town called Murshidabad, right?
I belong to a very, very small town in West Bengal, which is called Baharampur, Murshidabad.
Okay.
So it's very close to the Bangladesh border, and it's a very ancient city of Bengal or India, rather India.
Okay.
This is the place where the Nawab used to rule after the fall of the Mughals, and from this place only the British captured India. That is the Battle of Plassey that happened in 1757 between Nawab Sirajuddaulah and Robert Clive. That was in Murshidabad. And from that time onwards, the power passed on from the Indian rulers to the British East India Company.
Okay, that's a very interesting story.
Yes. So I belong to a very historical place.
Well, we were aware, of course, we have learned about Plassey, War of Plassey, but of course, I was not aware about it happens near Murshidabad.
So that's why Murshidabad is a much ancient city than Calcutta. So Calcutta is something 300 years old, which has been started by the British.
Correct.
But Calcutta is much younger, elder city, which used to be ruled by the Nawabs, Nawab Murshid Quli Khans, Alibardi and Sirajuddaulah. And if you see the history, it was a history of treachery and betrayal. That the generals of Sirajuddaulah, the Mirzafar, they didn't fight, and British got a walkover. and conquered Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha, and eventually the whole of India. And from writings of some of the historians, I have read that Robert Clive, in his biography, he is saying that when he was moving from Prasi to Murshidabad to take the control, on either side of the road, plenty of people were standing. And two things he has mentioned very categorically. One thing, the wealth he has seen in Murshidabad town, that was it was much opulent than the city of London. And the second thing he was saying was he was marching from Kolkata to Murshidabad with a very, very small army. And he was saying that people who are standing on either side of the road, if each of them picks up a stone and start pelting at us, then we'll be extinct. But nothing happened, and eventually the the throne passed on from the Indian rulers, to the British.
I think it's a story in each of part of our country the same way, right from the Devgiri to...
Yes, but that was the time. Then East India Company ruled in India for 100 years. Eventually, from East India Company, after the first revolt of independence, the revolt of Sipahi Mutiny, the throne actually passed to the British Crown. Before that, it was only a company that used to run, not the British government also. That was that.
This is very interesting. Our conversation started on the history part.
Because I was very weak in history in my childhood, because to me history was only numbers and dates. So I always used to score very less marks. But then when I grew up, I became very interested in history. Today I keep reading books of history, because I know there is a saying called history repeats. So if you don't know history, then you will make the same mistake.
Yes.
So you have to take lessons from the history.
So that's very interesting. But I think let's come back to the history. I really certainly want to talk about that part. But okay, so let's go back to your childhood. Now today you are handling so many big roles. You are named in one of the greatest scientists, or rather of pharmacists of the country right now. How did the journey start in pharmacy? I heard stories about your physician guided you, mentored you.
Yeah. So basically, see, I am from a very, very humble and patriotic family of Bengal. My grandparents, maternal grandparents, paternal grandparents, all were freedom fighters. Wow. My maternal, and I have been brought up by my maternal grandfather, Satyanarajan Ghosh and Anima Ghosh. They brought me up. So it was, and because my father and mother both were employed, mother was a teacher and father was a government officer, so they used to had to travel, and I and my elder sister, we used to stay with our grandparents, and they had imbibed us the feeling of patriotism, which actually is in my blood. And so my maternal father always used to say, initial days I was very good in painting and all, used to get a lot of prizes and all.
Really?
And I wanted to be a painter, actually. A painter, sometimes I wanted to be a poet.
Because I think in Bengal is blood, art is there, right?
Art is there, and I wanted to be that. But then when I reached in the 6th standard, I fall in love with science, especially physics. And there was no looking back. And my maternal grandfather, he always used to say, yes, you should do physics. You should become a nuclear physicist.
Wow.
And I wanted to become an astrophysicist. Because space always attracted me. It still attracts me. When I am alone, I always keep thinking, what is time? Why time flows from forward to backward? What is this space? What is the end of this space? Where is the end? And from where, after that, what is there? There is no answer. There is certain things where science ends, and there the philosophy begins. So that was the beginning. And again, in my childhood, I used to become I was a very sick child. So most of my times I used to lie down in bed. I used to bunk school, because I used to fall sick very often, cough, cold, stomach problem, and all those things. And my only friend was books. So I used to read books and hear stories from grandparents, and that was my only thing. And that was going on. in my childhood. And there was a very I used to be read everything. And then there was a very unique character of Satyajit Roy, the world famous film director. He was a author and painter also. And he created a like a crazy scientist character called Professor Shanku. So this Professor Shanku used to invent crazy things. Like there is a pill called Miracule. So Miracule can cure any disease. One single pill will cure any disease.
Okay.
Even if there is a snake bite, it will cure that also. Even if there is a burn injury, you apply Miracle ointment, immediately it is gone. It will heal everything.
Wow.
So then he had a weapon called annihilin revolver. You aim at somebody and shoot, and the person will get annihilated completely.
Okay.
No residue will be there. These are unique things, and he was a very humble person. So I became a very fan of that person.
Okay.
And I wanted to become a scientist,
Shanku.
like scientist, or to rather to say, wanted to become an innovator.
Okay.
So now I understand there is a difference between a scientist and an innovator, because scientist does science, innovation makes it as a implementable product.
Yeah.
Which it translates. So innovation is more into translational research. So that is again something where
It's a very interesting definition we are using.
yes, and that's something I'll come back later in our discussion about the translational research. So that was there, and as I said, I always used to feel sick, and when there was a doctor was there, physician was there, Dr. Binay Kumar Sarkar. He is a very old physician, and he used to treat me. And he always, he became a great friend of me always, though he was much elder to me. He was my grandfather's friend. So after my 12th, I wanted to pursue basic science. I wanted to study physics and do research in astrophysics. But he started telling me that you study pharmacy. Because if you do pharmacy, then it is also science. I said, what science is there? Pharmacy means you have to go and dispense medicine, you have to open a medical store. I put all those things. No, pharmacy, you can do a lot of, see, we prescribe only medicines, but the pharmacists, they discover the medicines. There is a lot of things. And he motivated me. And then finally, one fine morning, my mother asked my maternal uncle to take me to the pharmacy college and get me admitted in pharmacy. From there, my journey in pharmacy started. Wow. And again, I fell in love with pharmacy, and there was no looking back.
Wow. So tell me about your career. Like after completing I think you did a PhD in nano area.
Yeah. So PhD and all came much later.
Okay.
Did my graduation in pharmacy from a small college in Karnataka called Bharati College of Pharmacy.
Okay.
Under the University of Mysore.
Okay.
And that was also, we are the second batch of that college. And somehow I secured first rank, gold medal in the university. And in our times, there was an exam called GATE, Graduation Aptitude Test Engineering. So I secured first rank in GATE in all area.
Wow.
And because of that GATE score and all, I got admission in those days, NIPER was not there.
Okay. Right.
So I got admission in one of the best pharmacy colleges in India, government college, that is Dr. Hari Singh Gaur University, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, where I got professors like Professor Narendra Kumar Jain, Professor S.P. Vyas, and Professor V.K. Dikshit. These are all stalwarts discovery and research, even today, you go to US or wherever you go, you will find all people sitting, old people, retired people. They are also either their classmates or their friends or their students. So they are also, the thing is that when I wait for doing my masters in the counseling, I remember that was the first time they started pharmaceutical biotechnology.
Okay.
And my name was in the top of the merit list.
Right.
And they asked me, they called me first and said, which subject do you want? I said, pharma biotech. No, you don't take pharma biotech. I said, I want to do research. I want to discover. See, all the toppers will always take pharmaceutics. So I said, no, I want to do research. I want to take pharma biotech. Then Professor Jain, who later on became my guide, mentor, everything, he told, look, son, we all did good research in our lives and we are established, but I did in pharmaceutics. So research you can do in anything, but you should take pharmaceutics, because if you take pharmaceutics, then at least you will not have a problem getting a good job.
Okay.
Because pharmaceutics is something which is oriented to industry, completely oriented to pharmaceutical industry. Discovery of doses forms, or whether it is production, R&D, quality control, regulatory, everything is pharmaceutics or industrial pharmacy. So I took admission in pharmaceutics. In the third semester, we tried to do a project. And there I wanted to do something again on biotechnology. So I said, I will do on gene therapy.
So you wanted to get into biotechnology?
Yes, so I want to do on gene therapy. Okay. And my guide said, gene therapy, we don't have any infrastructure, nothing. How to do? And all this. No, I want to do gene therapy. I'll find it out. You just help me.
Yeah.
So I am thankful to him that he said, okay.
So what was the year?
The year was 2002.
My goodness.
Just, I think, 23 years back. So I said gene therapy. And he said, gene therapy, okay, I'll help you. And then, I started doing literature review and all those things.
Right.
And then I found out that there is an institute in Hyderabad called Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology. They do some work on gene therapy, so entirely on gene and all these things. So I asked my professor to give me an introduction letter. And with that introduction letter, first he told me to go to CDRI Lucknow and seek some help. He knew a lot of people there. I went there, but didn't get adequate support.
Correct.
Then with that letter, I went to Hyderabad to CCMB. And there was again another legendary person he only founded it and he was running it. Dr. Lalji Singh. He is no more with us, but he was like the father and he founded the Society of Human Genetics and all.
Okay.
So I went and approached him and he allowed me to do my project, 6 months projects there. And then came up with the project. That was the time. And then I'm telling this because probably some of the freshers, the students, they might correlate my story with them and they can get motivated. So the thing was, those days, internet was not so frequent.
Right.
I wanted to join the industry, but I had no contacts.
Right.
So everywhere every day I used to send applications to the HR heads of different companies by speed post. And never I used to get any call.
Right.
And though I was the topper of the batch, and there were people who are much junior to much less marks bearing classmates. They had some known people and they used to get calls and all those things from industry and they used to go. But I always said I will join industry. So I say, if you say I just compare myself with, I'm like a bit piggish. So a pig is very determined about the target. He doesn't have much intelligence. He doesn't think a lot. Whatever he decides, he does. So I am a piggish person. So I will join industry. I will do gene therapy. So that was the time. I was probably that semester work was going on. But many of my colleagues in between, they finished their work and they used to tell me, that time also when I was doing gene therapy, they used to tell me that learn to make tablets, then you will get a job. Otherwise, you will not get a job. So probably because of this gene therapy thing and all also, they were getting jobs, I was not getting the job. So that was the time. One day I got an invitation to talk in the annual conference of Indian Society of Human Genetics.
Okay.
And that conference was again, I'm saying 2003. It was happening in Jammu.
Okay.
Peak militancy
Exactly.
thing is there. It was an international conference, and they asked me to talk about my project because that was first time in India. So I went there. I still remember we are being a student, I was getting a VIP treatment wherever I used to go. We are kept in the army area, army guest house, and army people used to escort us to take us wherever we used to go.
Oh my God.
That time the newly elected government came, president rule ended, and it was going on. So they were taking me, and then what happened was, the final day I had my presentation. Lot of people appreciated. And then when I was having a lunch, then one lady came and he said, Dr. Datta, it was a wonderful presentation. I said, ma'am, I am not Dr. Datta. I am still pursuing my master's. It's okay, doctor बन जाओगे कोई बात नहीं ठीक है देखते. Then she said, so where are you working? I said, I am looking for a job. Then she said, why don't you join Ranbaxy? I said, I tried small, big, medium, all companies. Nobody calls me for interview also. I said, do you have a resume? I said, yes. Then she said, can you give me? So a hard copy was there. So I gave immediately the hard copy to her. So she was one of the vice presidents in Ranbaxy.
Oh, okay.
So that day afternoon, she flew from Jammu to Delhi. And I stayed couple of days in Jammu and all these places, local sightseeing and all. And then took a train, came to Delhi. From Delhi, again another train to Sagar. So almost after 10 days, when I opened my mail, I saw I got an interview call. And the date is also over.
Oh God. Oh my God.
I thought, what a hopeless person I am. Eventually I got an interview call from Ranbaxy, and that also is gone. Then finally, I thought, okay, let me go and read the mail once again. And then I saw some landline number is there.
Yeah.
So went to the STD booth, called that number. Then the lady who sent the mail, HR lady, she said, I said, I missed it. And no problem. We'll arrange it again. I said, when? Then she said, whenever you can come. I said, I can come tomorrow. Hey, okay, you come tomorrow. I had just forgotten that almost 800-kilometer distance is there and it's peak winter. No reservation. I said, okay, I'll come tomorrow. Okay, come tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. She's told and kept the phone.
So you from
Sagar.
You want to go back to Delhi?
Ha.
Okay.
So then there was no reservation. I took one blanket and sat in the general coach near the toilet and went to Delhi.
Oh my God.
Well, in the waiting room, I freshened up and went for interview.
Right.
It went on very well, and they offered me a position there in Ranbaxy R&D in formulation development.
Wow.
And that was the journey in India.
So that's quite a story.
That's quite a story. And I said this because many people will correlate all the students.
Yeah, I agree.
This thing,
I agree.
this thing. And then I was making tablets. I was making again tablets. And then when I used to go to the plant also, used to sit beside the Ooster fluid blade coater or big machines. And then I used to say, I'll do gene therapy. I see gene therapy like that. And then finally, after 2 years, I got a senior research fellowship from Indian Council for Medical Research.
Okay.
And I left my job and joined my PhD. And that was, can you imagine that project was on DNA vaccination?
Oh.
So what people nowadays talk about DNA vaccination during COVID, and that we did in 2004-5. Obviously, thanks to Government of India and Indian Council for Medical Research for sponsoring the project and the publication and all those things, good things, based on which got good postdoc offers from US and all these things. But then there was a postdoc offer from University of Queensland and Diamantina Institute of Cancer Immunology and Metabolic Medicine, where and the guys wanted me to work on siRNA therapeutics, which is gene silencing.
Correct.
So I decided to pursue that and went there, did DNA vaccination. DNA vaccination was already there, gene silencing and all those things, along with this novel drug delivery systems, everything. So that was the journey, did my postdoc. And then again, these are certain turning points of my life which I am touching base.
Correct.
And worked for a lot of multinational companies as scientist, group leader, associate director, directors, R&D, and all those things. And then one day, I was traveling from Los Angeles to Michigan, and one guy was sitting beside me, and he looks like a Mexican guy. I thought he's Mexican, but he was so inquisitive. He was asking me so many questions, and I was answering.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden he asked me, Datta, have you ever thought that what is the difference between you and your boss? That, he is a leader and you are just a scientist. After all, you take pride in saying a scientist, but eventually one has to be a leader. Do you want to remain a manager or a leader?
Okay.
Have you ever thought like that? I said, sir, I have never thought. Then he gave his card and he said, stay in touch. And he left.
Okay.
So then I saw he is an Indian.
Okay.
And then I came and I showed the card to my friends and said, oh, you have met him? He's the world's biggest management guru, C.K. Prahlad.
Oh my God.
And then, one day again, I called him up.
So, do C.K. Prahlad.
C.K. Prahlad.
Okay.
His card was there. And obviously, he didn't pick up the call. He was a very busy person. And my number was also not there with him. And one more thing is, in US, especially in those days, incomings were highly chargeable in mobile phone.
Yeah.
So nobody used to pick up unknown calls. Nobody used to, and even if known calls used to come, people used to disconnect and call from landline. So it was not a surprise to me. But then what happened? At night, I got a call back from him.
Oh, wow.
And then he, may I know who is speaking like that, he started. And I said, sir, I'm Dr. Tathagata Dutta. We met over like, oh yes, how are you and all. Then after certain things, I said, sir, but tell me, why do you call me back? Then he said, Tathagat, I get hundreds of calls every day. I am unable to attend everything, and many of them are junk calls. But whenever I get time, I call each and every call. I reciprocate them. I said, why? He said, 100 might be junk, but one might be something, an opportunity knocking at your door. So I got again a life-changing lesson from him.
Really, absolutely.
So today, if you see, like now my mobile is in silent mode. After that, I'll go out and I'll see plenty of calls, and I'll call one by one everyone.
Wow.
Even people who are telecallers also, I will say, sorry, madam, sorry, sir, not interested. Because I know they are also doing their job.
Correct.
We should not be rude to them. We should be kind and compassionate. And second thing, what he started was like, I started seriously thinking, and then I took admission in IIM Kolkata in executive management.
I think Dr. C.K. Prahlad also guide some of the IIM, right? So
He was from IIM Ahmedabad. Later on, he was in University of Michigan and all. Unfortunately, he passed away after some time at a very young age, around, if I'm not wrong, around 64 or something. He had a bad pneumonia and he passed away. But yes, I studied with the people who were students of C.K. Prahlad in IIM Kolkata.
absolutely amazing. I love his books.
Yes, Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid. That is one of his book that actually shook the whole world. The concept that people used to seek, that only fortune is at the top.
Correct.
So this was another thing that was that turning point of my life. That I gradually I started changing consciously. I started changing myself.
So manager to leader. Journey starts.
Manager to leader. The journey starts.
So let's start with like what is the basic fundamental difference between manager and leader according to you?
According to me, a manager is a person who manages people. A manager is a person who gets the task done by somebody. He works with the people. But a leader is a person who leads the people from the front. He sets an example. He never tells people to do something, but he motivates the people to do everything. And people start thinking that we are doing.
Correct.
They don't think that I have been asked to do something. I'll again tell you one story. In one party, it was again. So I always pick all the small incidences in my life. I pick as learning things, and I keep imbibing this, and I keep growing. So I remember in one party, it was quite almost again 15 years back or so. In one party, Mr. Ratan Tata was there. And then all of a sudden, I saw Mr. Tata. He went and he picked up a tissue paper and he was looking for a tissue paper. And then he picked up a tissue paper and he was going like this. I said, what it is? Then I saw one piece of bone is in the floor. He picked up the bone and put it in the bin. So very silently the message is conveyed that somebody has made it. It has been fallen from somebody's plate.
Yeah.
He should have done that. But Mr. Tata will never tell anybody that why you have not done that, but he himself demonstrated that. That is the difference between a leader. A manager will say, he will call the housekeeping person and say, please clean this. A leader will do it himself, and he will set an example that everyone will do that.
Wow.
I had seen one day Mr. D.S. Brar. He was the chairperson of Ranbaxy. Again, a great stalwart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Pagdidhari Sardar. So I remember our bosses, and he was coming out from the canteen, and he was. So it all of a sudden started raining. So people started running. And if the pagdi is wet, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But I saw that Brar Sahib, he never stopped his pace. In the same pace he was walking. He's getting wet, but he is getting undisturbed. And seeing him, other people also followed same way. They stopped running. It was such a disciplined way, such a uniform thing. So these are the ways leaders motivate people to do the things. They inspire people.
Correct.
Like today also, I always encourage people to do a flexible working hours and all those things. But I go to office usually between 7 to 8. Office starts at 9. So I go to office at between 7 to 8. So that, before the other people come, I finish my other works, reading the mails, responding to the overnight mails and everything. And then when people come, then 9 o'clock onwards, they come and start meeting me and talking to me and all those things. So I start the day early so that I get a very long day. And people who want to get motivated, they follow this routine. I don't say, because I don't like staying back long at office, but if you can start early, then you have enough time for your family, you have a good work-life balance. You can plan your day much earlier. My day typically starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, irrespective of the time when I go to bed. Like yesterday night, my flight was delayed and I reached the hotel at 11:30. And so today morning, 9 o'clock, I had the keynote address.
Correct.
So after food and all, I went to bed at 2 o'clock. But I woke up at 4 o'clock.
Really?
Took bath because I had certain rituals, my puja and japa and all those things I had to do. And after that, when Ashish was reminding me, sir, can you please come by 9:15? I said, I will be by 8:30 because I want to have informal chat with all of you. I don't want to miss the opportunity because the rest of the day, all of you will be busy.
Correct. Wow.
So these are the certain things,
I think it's a good start. My next question to this is related to this. Like nowadays, the generation talks a lot about 8 hours, 9 hours a day only, or 8 hours a day, work-life balance, then 4 days a week kind of philosophies, right? So I wanted to have your take on it. Like how exactly, like you said, you start your day at 4, right? You reach by office by 7, 8, and you also balance your life, give time to family, and rather, I also want to talk about a lot about that environment initiatives you are doing. So how you keep yourself in this position and how your day looks like?
So as I said, the work, if you start your day early, you always get plenty of time.
Of course.
And the second thing is that uh, this first thing, I always believe that yes, there should be a proper work-life balance. I don't agree that somebody should work 90 hours or somebody should work 70 hours or something like that. No, that is not possible. Yes, I also worked continuously 3 days, 3 nights, uh, but that is once in a blue moon. There were FDA audits where the auditor, was after something and he continued till 3 o'clock next morning, and everyone was there in the facility, not me. But that is something that's quite natural. And even I remember some of those audits, even audit preparation times. The QA head told that, "Sir, we are going to stay back. You can go," because practically I was not doing anything, but I said I will also prefer to stay back with you so that people get motivated.
Correct.
People get motivated. I was not doing anything, but yes, I am leading from the front. When they see me that grabbing a cup of coffee and taking a round where people are working, they get energized. They get motivated. It should not be that you have to stay these many hours. You set an example that yes, I am staying. If you want, you can stay. I had a lady, QA head, and she is the mother of 2 kids, and I told her that, "Madam, your kids are waiting, so you leave at 5:30. I am there, and your team is there. We'll manage it. You go." But she stayed back. She said, "No, sir, my mother-in-law will take care. This is my job. I will take care." And she stayed back. So these are voluntary things.
Absolutely.
But work-life balance is otherwise people will become insane after some time, because even machines also they hang up.
Yeah, absolutely.
After
They also need some rest.
They need rest. So we all have to plan our work in such a way. First thing is that starting the day early, planning the day very much. So I use softwares to plan my week, plan my day, what are the things to be done, and every time I keep picking the things what are done.
Okay.
So that's how I keep track of things, and I take breaks between the work, not breaks like chatting with people or something like that, but like in between meetings or during meetings, I walk while I talk, or I talk when I walk. Because I feel that proper blood circulation is required sitting in the chair. That is not a very ergonomic position.
Correct.
So that I do. Whenever I in between, if I get at least 5 minutes time also, I go and take a round in the plant. I talk with the people and try to understand their problem, try to motivate them and all those things. So that's how. And yes, again, I try to wrap up my work by 5:30 positively. Again, after 5:30, whenever I stay at office, it is my time. It is my time. Okay, so I don't keep any appointments and calls after 5:30 and all. Even people outside India also, I insist them to conclude the call by 5:30.
Okay.
Usually there is a tendency that the Americans, they will insist you that okay, keep the call at 7:30 and then it will go up to. That is not a good culture. If they are keeping that calls in their time, why can't we insist them to keep it in our time or something? Why can't we insist them that you start early and have the call before we close? Why our people have to stay late at office? So yes, this is very much essential. This is very much essential. And a 5-day week is definitely a good thing. 4-day week is probably, I don't know. I have never done that. But the most important thing is passion. The most important thing is passion. And in that sense, if you say, when I feel very passionate about a particular project, then for me,
5 days.
there is no 5 days. So there is something I tell to my teammates that time, that मेरा तो ना ही शनिवार, ना ही रविवार, ना ही परिवार.
Wow. That's very interesting.
So I work Saturday, Sundays also if it demands.
Correct.
Otherwise, no.
Right.
Otherwise, if we meet outside
In a normal days, you follow your schedule.
and I try to close by 5:30. At least the official work, I can read. I can read scientific literature. I can have discussion over scientific things over a cup of coffee and all those things. That can go on, but not the operational things or the regular.
But you still do lab experiments and everything?
Yes, that is my oxygen. That is my oxygen. Without being lab experiments, I cannot survive. That is the thing. That is the thing that I call myself a scientist.
Wow. That's
I don't like myself to be addressed as a chief scientific officer or a managing director or a chief technology officer. Those are fancy titles. Nothing to do with our work.
Yeah.
Basically, three things that defines me. I am a pharmacist. Till that, I am a pharmacist, and I am proud to be a pharmacist. I am not a doctor. I am not anything. I am a pharmacist. And second thing is, I am a scientist. And third thing is, I am a teacher.
Wow. So it's really wonderful to see you possess a passion in science, then in innovations, then you do teaching, and I think let's also talk about now plants. I heard you have carnivorous plants at your home. So tell me about it.
Yes, so that is again another thing. So I used to. So as I said, I am a voracious reader. I have the most important asset probably I have apart from my parents, my family, my teachers is my books. So I wherever I go, I always carry books with me.
Wow.
And from books, obviously the passion for learning new things, and as I said, plantation is something which is very close to my heart. My father was an agriculture officer, and he always used to, after retirement, before retirement, he always used to maintain a big garden, and I still follow that. Plants are very, very close to me, and so does the animals as well. So I when I started reading about those carnivorous plants, pitcher plant, honeydew, and all these things, I started getting very much inquisitive, and I started inquiring about them. Certain plants which are found in Brazil and all those things. There are certain carnivorous plants which can be found in Valley of Flowers in Uttarakhand in the high altitudes, and in India mostly if you'll find them in the Garo Khasi hills in northeast.
Okay.
So I started exploring, and I found certain authentic suppliers, and my first thing was that I want plant also, and I want a solution. I want a remedy, probably an alternate solution, a sustainable solution of controlling the pests without using pesticides and insecticides. So that was the time I started buying all these carnivorous plants.
Wow.
And they are a great friend of mine. They don't need any food or they don't need anything because they take the nutrition from living insects and pests.
Yeah.
Only thing is they don't need sunlight also. They need is a bit of water. That also very rarely. So I keep them, and my house is free from mosquitoes. It is free from cockroaches. It's free from all insects.
So I think it's a new formula for
So I don't use any insect repellents, mosquito repellents, anything. And they are also happy. I am also happy. I can see plants. They are ornamental as well. They decorate the house very nicely, and equally they keep my house free from all the pesticides and insecticides, as well as the pests and insects.
That's really amazing. Well, being a scientist, you are using science everywhere.
Yes, that should be. That should be. And that is something that started with, say, like a small experiment, one or two. And then I started having a very good collection at Calcutta, all these plants.
Wow. So you are currently staying at Hyderabad and
I'm staying at Hyderabad, yeah, and I'm and in Calcutta as well. So we have this setup everywhere. This carnivorous plants. And trust me, these are now. If anybody is interested, I can connect you with people and all. It's all they are all available.
Wow, that's very interesting. I will certainly get some context. Let's try to-
And even those who want to do those who want to do business,
Yeah.
that is another wonderful business where you can grow the carnivorous plants and you can sell it again. You can buy, then you can grow, and you can sell.
It's a business idea.
Business idea.
Dr. Datta.
Because I say that I have after CK Prahlad, I have developed a very strong business acumen. And that is thing I always keep I keep getting opportunities everywhere. I look up for opportunities,
Wow.
business opportunities.
Wonderful. That's really great. So let me move towards. I think you are fond of poetry, right? And you're coming from a land of poetry, rather a great poets, right?
Poetry, art in this thing, and I started reading, learning Spanish and all because I wanted to read the poetry in their own language.
Really? Oh my God.
But though later on, nowadays the beauty is everything we get online. So for all these things, you don't have to carry.
Yeah, exactly. So which is your favorite poem?
So my favorite poet is Robert Frost.
Ah, nice.
So, and some of his poetry, like The Road Not Taken. Sometimes I would like to say it with a sigh that two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference.
Wow.
So I always feel that probably I have, after my Ranbaxy days, probably destiny has made me. I have not worked for something very, very well established companies. And that was the reason I got to learn all the functionalities, or probably I got all the exposures, and I have been able to grow. And that is something that was the road not taken, which I took. The people usually will. I had offers from big companies later on, but they are more compartmentalized. And if you see the history, again, coming back to history, innovation doesn't happen in big companies. Innovation happens in small companies.
I agree.
Because small companies have one unique strength, that is agility,
Agility. Yes.
which big companies doesn't have.
Yes.
And the most important thing about science is, like, when somebody says, we cannot do innovation because this much investment is required. I said, it doesn't require. Innovation starts from your mind. It starts from your mind. It doesn't require. You see all the great inventions that happened in a very, very small setup. Whether even in US, they are having in small academic setups. They do the inventions, and later on, if you see people like Robert Langer, he has done most of his inventions in his lab in MIT. But later on, all these companies, and the final one, which everyone knows, Moderna vaccine. That all he started with his lab in MIT.
Correct.
So for that, you don't require much investment, much thing. But if you have any originality, most important thing one should have is originality and passion. These are the two drivers. That will not let you sleep. You have an idea, and then I have to do this. By hook or by crook, I have to do this. Whether I need to beg to people also, I will do that. But I have to do this. Through that. You see people like somebody like Dr. Vara Prasad Reddy, who founded Shanta Biotech. He was not a pharmacist. He was an engineer by background, if I am not wrong.
Yes.
But he had a passion that he had that in those days. One dose of hepatitis V vaccine used to cost 5,000 rupees. And he said, I want to bring it to less than 50 rupees. And he went from door to door, asked to multinational companies to do tech transfer in India, and nobody was interested. Then he borrowed money and all and started Shanta Biotech and all. And because of that great person today, hepatitis B vaccine is available at a rate which is less than 20 rupees. And it is given in most of the countries in the world. It is given as uh, a compulsory vaccination scheme under the government. It is, see, you don't have to pay that 20 rupees also.
Yes.
So it is all started with one man, one dream. So one has to be a dreamer.
Yes, dream and passion.
Dream and passion. So that is something again coming back again, all are interlinks, history, science, arts. So an artist is also a dreamer, a scientist also a dreamer. If you see Leonardo da Vinci, he was an artist, but he dreamt and designed the helicopter and all those things. So that's how it works.
Absolutely.
If you cannot dream, then you cannot become a scientist. If you cannot dream, you cannot become a great entrepreneur. You cannot become.
I agree.
And even if your father is having plenty of money, but still it will take some years to just spend it and become a pauper.
Very true. Very true. So, let's move to the final question. Otherwise, this will go on. I'm sure about.
Yeah, I know. I'm really, probably then you have to have several episodes.
True that. So, we are talking about innovation. We are talking about our country. So, what do you think? What is going to be a future of our country in advanced technologies or advanced innovation, which is happening in cell gene therapy or any other personalized medicine kind of area? So, what is the future of our country?
The future of the country is very good, but the thing is that, and the government is very, very supportive, which is like all-time high. Government is now declaring the NIPERS as Center of Excellence and giving a lot of money. IIT professors are encouraged to start their own companies apart from doing their job. All these things are happening. So we are probably standing in a very, very critical junction of history. But again, my professor used to say that, Professor N.K. Jain used to say that human beings and electricity always looks for shortcuts. So Indian academia and industry, obviously the business leadership, they all have to play a great role in this thing. We have to give up the concept of running after low-hanging fruits, generics or biosimilars, this thing. If India has to become a $5 trillion economy, it has to be through biologics, not through small molecules. Small molecules will be there. Yes, tablets will be there. But as long as mouth is there, tablet will be there. I will not say the guys who used to tell me that learn to make tablets so that you can get a job. I will not tell them that stop giving up making tablets because tablets days are over. I will rather say that as long as mouth will be there, tablet will be there. But the paradigm has completely shifted from there. And this is the time we have to be more innovative. We have to be more creative. If you see a small company like South Korea, they can do new biological entities. They can do so many gene therapies. If you see country like India, we are still thinking of biosimilars. We are still thinking of doing something like generics or complex generics. Or some of the companies, they are into they are happy rendering service to the multinational companies and whatever they are doing. This is not going to help our country. This might help the person as a whole to make the personal wealth. But it will not help people to, or not the country to grow the GDP or create employment and all those things. For that we need to do the innovation. And trust me, if again we are having this discussion when almost a trade war is going on worldwide, and this is the time we should take it as an opportunity rather than this thing. If our products are innovative, if our products are new, then we don't have to worry about the tariffs and all those things. So if somebody puts 200% tariff also, But doctors has to prescribe that, and the insurance company has to pay for it, because there is no other substitutes for that.
Exactly.
But if you are into generic space, then yes,
Then
you have to always, that is the thing I ask every day to myself, whether I am doing something different or I am doing the same thing which others are doing, whether I am thinking in the same line as the others, or whether I still have something. And trust me, learning is always a two-way process. So one way is I deliver talks to premier institutes like IITs and NIPERS and all these institutes. But equally, I teach students in small institutes in villages where they are not able to pay for my travel cost also. And at my own expense, I travel and I talk to them, because this is the time we have to give back to the society. And I am also not from a very Ivy League college in my graduation. My post-graduation was definitely in Sagar, which is the Ivy League in pharmacy, but not the one in near Mysore in a small village called KM. That was not the one. So, but I came up from there, and a lot many people might come up. So that is one part. Another part is I also learn a lot of things from these young kids. When they ask me innocent questions, and those questions which I am not able to answer, that keep haunting me. And from there, something comes up.
True that. Yes. Wonderful. I think, Dr. Datta, it's really wonderful talking to you. I have a final question here. So, do you have any plan to create that medicine what you talk about from Dr. Shanku? One tablet for everything.
I do have a lot of ideas, but yes, that one I don't have any idea at all. But there is nothing called absolute truth. Truth is always relative. So I am sure someday, with the advancement of science, there will be something like worldwide. Many companies are working on drugs that will arrest the process of aging. People will not die. Someday it will happen. It is going to happen. It's very near. Medicines will become obsolete. Everything will become obsolete. And if we are still thinking like that, what I know is absolute, then we will also become extinct like the dinosaur.
True.
So that is the thing. So that's why I cannot say the final word.
So really great. Pleasure talking to you, and pleasure to host you here.
Same here. Thank you. And thanks to your organization, and I wish you all the best, the good work you are doing. It is also similar to planting trees, because you are inspiring the people. So they are also analogous to the trees.
So we are trying to plant thoughts.
Yes, plant thoughts, and obviously through your media, through your journal or whatever it is, I just want to request everyone that please plant trees.
Yes. Wonderful. Thanks a lot. And that to bring us the end of truly inspiring conversation with Dr. Datta. Today, we didn't just learn about cutting-edge innovation in pharma. We also glimpsed the passion, creativity, and humility that drives true leadership. From gene therapy breakthroughs to nurturing carnivorous plant at home, Dr. Datta reminded us that science and wonder often grow from the same roots. Thank you for tuning into the Voices of Pharma. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, share, and stay connected, because the world of pharma is filled with many more stories worth hearing. Until the next time, keep leading, keep inspiring.